Have you ever thought what would happen if you and your friend make an isekai together? Somebody asked the same question and he went and made it into a manga. It's called Thank You Isekai. The name is special. It could have been much worse, like the time I got reincarnated as a pachinko machine in an apocalyptic world and now I have to marry an orc princess. The title aside, if you're new here, how about you subscribe? Something telling me you like unique manga. If you couldn't guess from the name, it's a comedy. Or should I say, it's a mix of Mushoku Tensei and Konosuba. That means this manga can make you laugh while still having great in-depth and well-written characters. Also, it's set in a very, let's say, interesting world. Chiba and Shayna are your average otaku in their 30s. After meeting for the first time in years and an unhealthy amount of drinking, Truck-kun and his assistant Heart Attack decided to pay them a visit. Next time they open their eyes, they look like this. Chiba being the more logical person here, puts a little bit of a panic, but Chiba diffused the panic by saying the only conclusion he comes up with is that they are in an isekai reincarnation or it's just a prank show. We know it's not a prank show because Truck-kun never prank anyone. They come to the reality of their fate when they meet a humongous dragon. But it's no biggie, they are in an isekai world. That means they are OP, right? Nah, they are as strong as Redditors on a strike. Here when we see it's not your typical OP protagonist isekai. It's more like survive or go back to the lobby. But looks like that doesn't bother Shayna at all. He's just happy that they got isekai. Chiba is a bit worried about things they left behind, like work. He calms down when he remembers his workplace. This being an isekai, you bet there are game-like elements here, like a stats and level system. After a bit of a struggle and goofing around, they figure out how to look at their stats. That is, Chiba being level 5 and has some bits of MP, Shayna being level 4 with 0 MP. The first chapters are paced a bit slow, but it's a good way to make you more familiar with our duo and their abilities and their personalities. Chiba is a person who always tries to go with plan and logic and prefers to prepare before he does anything. And on the other hand, Shayna is carefree and usually takes his decision on the spot. Completely opposite of each other. You might think him being represented as this weak little girl who is useless most of the time is for the gag and the humor. You are half right. While he brings out most of the jokes, we also see he gets bothered for being weak and always tries to catch up to his friend. And you bet he tries anything to get that power up, even if it means diving into dragon's feces to claim the Excalibur. The relationship and the chemistry between these two is very fun to see. Reminds me of how real friends talk and treat each other, minus the racism. Chiba is not always the problem solver. He can't fight everything as he himself is weak. Remember the Excalibur? Well, it comes handy in a Stinky Situation. During an encounter with the forest orc, the duo are having an intense standoff with the orc. But why isn't the orc just attacking them? They're just two defenseless girls because of the shit sword Shayna holding while shaking to the core. In fact, he's shitting himself physically and mentally. But here's the thing, the sword came out of a dragon, so it's going to smell like a dragon. That's why the orc is hesitant to attack, and Chiba can't risk to see if his beginner's level magic spells work on orc or not. I'm not going to spoil how this encounter ends. That is something you gotta read for yourself. What does every isekai have in common? Same looking protagonist, same starting town, same magics, harem? What are we missing? Oh wait, slavery. This part of the story, I wasn't expecting it to be this dark. I mean, I saw this tag called attempted gang rap, but I thought like rapping, you know, Eminem, Lil Uzi, but not this. Don't worry, they are safe. An actual isekai MC saved them. Turns out they're not the only people that got isekai into this world. The isekai MC has his own harem and OP abilities already. What is he missing is his own series. I mentioned earlier that Thank You Isekai sets in an interesting world. Well, it's basically Hunter x Hunter without the technology and the cool fights and the power system. So there's this uncharted, extremely dangerous continent which every adventurer dreams and trains hard to go there and come back with its treasures. Oh, and it's also the home of Demon King. Can't have an isekai without him, huh? Don't worry, it's not called a dark continent, it's called the continent of night. The story really has that good feeling vibe to it, and yes, it's not as light-hearted as it seems, and the art style enforces that feeling a lot. The feeling that the story doesn't want to take itself seriously, but it does. I admit, it doesn't have deep and complex complex characters like Mushoku Tensei, but they are way better than your usual isekai, especially for a manga called Thank You Isekai. There's something about this dude that catches your attention in the first chapters. And it's not them being cute girls, it's their reaction to the world. It's somewhat realistic. Remember, these two are gamers, so most of the time they behave based on their experience from games, just like me and you. Don't tell me if you get isekai with your friend and when you find that both of you are spawned as girls, you won't ask him if you're cute or not. Thank You Isekai gave me that thought that sometimes come across most of people's mind, and that is having you going on an adventure with your friend, getting into a gang rapping competition, and even if you don't have any friend, you can always become seed, so don't worry, there's always a way. This manga gave me that missing part about every fantasy genre that I read and watched recently, and most of them didn't have the fun element except Eminence Shadows, but that was a different fun. The artist does a great job showing you the world by putting you in the character's perspective and shows you how massive and fascinating this world is and how small and weak these two are. Just look at these panels. The author is a real gamer. The amount of reference to games and books and manga and anime here is insane, which is sometimes can get overwhelming with a long explanation, and it's kind of funny when even the mangaka tells you can skip the panel. So if you're bored and looking to read a short fun story, Thank You Isekai is waiting for you. So far it has over 30 chapters, and for me it's 7 out of 10. I really had fun reading it, but it bothered me sometimes when I couldn't understand the reference, but that's a skill issue on my part. Also, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and comment, and there seems to be something on your screen. Try click on it, might help.